Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to your first lecture of marketing management. My name is Ayaz Rishi and I will be guiding you, mentoring you through the rest of this course. Now, I won't jump into the introduction of this course or introduction about me, because this is just some sort of a straightaway recording of what we are going to learn in our chapter number 1. So we will have an introduction, inshallah, when we will meet online in our first lecture. For now, I just want to talk about this course, and I just want to talk about what we are getting ourselves into. So first thing that you need to remember is that this course is going to be built on your previously established principles of marketing. So I'm sure you already had one course of fundamentals of marketing in your semester 3. And this course is going to take all those previous concepts and convert them into a whole new level. At least this is what my methodology is going to be. We will be discussing some of the fundamentals that you have already discussed, because the chapters, they all remain the same. But what my methodology is going to be is to guide you people on how to implement these strategies, how to design the strategies, how you can actually, create strategies in order to develop some effective marketing plans. So we are not just going to, discuss what a product is. We are going to discuss the product strategy. We are going to work on how to create a product strategy. We are not just going to discuss what a distribution channel is or what a direct distribution or indirect distribution is. I'm going to give you a task to develop, to design distribution strategies by your own hand. So this course for me is all about practicality. It's all about designing your marketing plans, designing your marketing strategy on your own. So whenever in your life you have the opportunity or a challenge to design something for you, for your organization, or for somebody else, you should be, or you would be, inshallah, in a better position to design these things on your own. So let's start with chapter number 1. And this chapter is all about talking different kind of fundamental concepts that you already know, I hope. And we are going to just give you some sort of a rudimentary information on how these elementary variables or elementary concepts are important in marketing, just to give you a refresher on all the marketing concepts and principles that you already are familiar with. So Bismillah Rahman Rahim, and see what we need to learn here. So starting from the most basic stuff, and that is the definition of marketing. Now I'm sure every one of you can explain or define marketing in your own way, but here I'm going to discuss some of the important aspects that I found more engaging. For example, you talk about identification, meeting human and social needs. So basically we all know one thing, that marketing is all about identification of needs and satisfying the needs and identifying opportunities and grabbing those opportunities, or satisfaction or products which creates value. And there are so many ways in which you can define marketing, but I am more concerned about this main definition according to American Marketing Association, which says that marketing is the activity, a set of institutions and processes which create, communicate, deliver, and exchange offerings that have a value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Now, what I want to know is either you know how to create value, what kind of marketing mix or what kind of 4 P's are used in order to create value, communicate value, and deliver value. So you have 4 P's. You have product, you have price, you have placement, and promotion. So this is going to be my question number 1 with you people when we will meet next time in the class. I'm going to ask you which marketing mix elements are going to contribute towards creation of value, which marketing mix elements are going to contribute towards communication, and which marketing mix elements are going to contribute towards the delivery of value. Guys, one thing you should remember in your mind, that I'm not here to repeat everything that you already should have known or you must have gone through in your courses. I want you people to think. I want you people to cooperate. I want you people to invest yourself in this course, to collective learn, to contribute something. I want you people to think, and this course is entirely going to be based on that. I am not going to ask you define marketing. I'm not going to ask you explain the difference between needs, wants and demands. These are not the kind of questions I'm interested in. I want to know if you really understand how the concept of need can be used in design of an effective marketing system, in an effective strategy. For example, in front of you is a definition of marketing. So I'm not going to ask you the definition of marketing. I am going to ask you, what do you mean by the word creation, communication and delivery of the value? So these are the kind of things you should be interested in. These are the kind of things you should be thinking about, because these are the kind of questions which matter, and these are the kind of questions which would be coming in your final examination. Because I know for you people, the education learning, it matters, yes, but it also matters that you should be getting some good score. So getting a score in my class can only be, can only happen if you pay attention on all these questions that I'm imposing. And I will be giving you these kind of brain teasers. I would be giving you different kind of questions, and I'm going to give you different kind of options to select from. Over the passage of time, over the coming days, over the coming weeks and semester, I will be giving you same kind of question, and you have to give me these kind of answers, and these kind of questions may be coming in your exam and or like something like that. But you need to remember this thing, that this course is not just about recollection of previously learned concepts or just reproduction or ratification. No, it's all about your learning. You have to pay attention, you have to be conceptually correct, you have to be strategically correct, you should know the implication, you should know the strategy. And this is my dream for this class. This is what I hope for you people, that you should be able to self-sufficient in marketing, that you should not need any further guidance in the future. You should be self-sufficient to find your way, to work on your marketing plans, to work on anything that may arrive in the future. So this was my first question from you guys. I would be asking you in the coming days, what do you mean by the word creation, communication and delivery of value, and what 4Ps can be used in order to create, communicate and deliver value? I hope you got my idea of what I'm trying to ask you. So what is the difference between marketing and marketing management? So it's the art and science of choosing the right target market. So I hope you understand that definition of the word target markets. And then once you have identified that target market, you need to make sure you get the customer. You need to make sure you keep the customer. You need to make sure you grow the customer. So basically, it's not only about creating the product or advertising it or distributing it. You need to make sure you need to give them a reason to come to you. You need to find ways to attract customers, and we will be inshallah discussing different strategies, how to get the customers, how to keep your customers forever, and how to grow them, how to develop your customers, how to get more profit from them, how to get more sales from them. This is the basic difference between a successful organization and an unsuccessful organization. They don't just sit on their seats thinking about the possibility of customers. They work on something in order to attract customers, keep them and grow them, and that can only be done by creation, delivery and communication of a superior customer value, for which I have already asked you a question about the 4 P's. So these are some old rudimentary concept that you already should be familiar with. What is marketed? What else cannot be marketing? Anything can be marketed. You talk about goods, we can market goods, we can market services, we can market events, experiences, person. But what you need to remember, that the marketing strategies for each and every entity would be different. In a way that you market goods cannot be used exactly for marketing services. What you use for marketing services cannot exactly be the same for events. So as for experiences in person, every kind of marketing strategy, it can be differential from one another. It can be different from one another, and there are different but yes, one thing you must remember, that all those principles of marketing can be applied on all these types of marketing, but the implication, the nature, the type of strategy that we use, it can be different for each and every type of marketing. And then you have places, properties, organization, information. You have already covered this thing in fundamentals of marketing chapter number 1 or the products and services chapter. Everything can be marketed, but remember one thing, the strategies, the types of marketing are entirely different. So what you have to do is to learn and understand how place marketing works, how property marketing works, how real estate marketing works, how hospitality marketing industry works, how airline marketing works. So every industry has different dimension, different scope, and different scale of operation. In order to be successful, you first need to understand the very nature of that industry before you start jump into designing an actual marketing plan. And who markets? The marketer. And to whom they market? The prospect, the customer. So the first main topic that I want to discuss here is the 8 demand states, or the demand states. So in front of you are the 8 states of demand. Now these demand states can be relevant to one industry, or it can be relevant to many industries, but you need to understand first of all, what do you mean when you use the word negative demand? What do you mean when you use the word latent demand? And what kind of marketing strategy we use in order to market products which come under negative demand? So you should not only know what do you mean, what are the definitions of these stages, you also should know the nature and the strategies. So this is going to be my question number 2. Not only yet that you need to know about these things, you need to come up with a strategy. But I'm for once I am going to explain you what do you mean by the word negative marketing. So you all have the definitions in the book. For example, you talk about negative demand state. The word negative demand state means that the consumers dislike the product, or they are even willing to pay to avoid it. So the consumers, they dislike the product and they may be even willing to pay to avoid it. What is a non-existent demand? There is no demand, absolutely. But in which conditions would you say the demand is non-existent? The conditions are they may be unaware about the product, or they do not want it simply. What do you mean by the word latent demand? There is a demand, but the existing products are not able to satisfy it. What do you mean by declining demand? Consumers have become irregular about purchasing the products. Your demand is declining day by day. Consumers are no longer purchasing your products. What do you mean by the word irregular demand? Your demands vary in terms of season, like summer products demand in winter, or winter products demands in summer, or some seasonal changes. For example, Ramadan, the demands increase for everything on an abrupt rate, or Eid, everything, even daily basis or weekly basis, the demand can be shifted. This comes under irregular demand. Or your consumer may be attracted towards the product which may have some undesirable social consequences. That comes under unwholesome demand. Or the demand is equal to supply, or the demand is more than supply. These are the different kind of demand states which I have just explained to you people. But I am not just interested in you people ratifying all these demands. I'm not going to ask you what do you mean by non-existent or negative demand. I am interested in what kind of marketing strategy we can use. For example, if I give you an example, if I ask you this question, explain the concept of negative demand in terms of an example, like give me a case where an industry has a negative demand, and what kind of marketing strategies they are using to deal with this state. So you have to give me an example, and this would be my question number 2 from you people in the next lecture. I'm going to ask you, not only you need to explain me what do you mean by the word negative demand, that consumer dislike the product and they are even willing to pay to avoid it, but I'm also interested in you people explaining me what kind of marketing strategy we use for marketing these negative demanded products. Because remember one thing, this demand states is a place from which every marketing plan emanates. This is actually the the core. This is actually the central processing unit that defines what kind of marketing strategies would you be using. Because if you don't understand the concept of negatively demanded products, all of your marketing campaigns, they can be blown away, because you were not actually familiar with the entire concept of negative demanded products. So again, what can we do with those products which are unwholesome? What can we do with an irregular demanded products? What can we do with the latent demanded products? So this is going to be my question number 2. This is another brain teaser for you people. This is going to be my next question. This can be another question in your final examination, that what kind of strategies we can use in order to deal with each individual demand states that are in front of you. So I hope you got my idea what I'm actually trying to get from you guys. Now in front of you is a modern exchange economy. It's very easy to understand. You can see that everything emanates from the resource markets. These resources are being used by manufacturers to manufacture goods and services. Then they are being moved to intermediary markets, and then consumers use them, and then consumer moves to resources markets, because everything starts and everything finishes at the resource markets. Money emanates, money stems out from the resource market, but the money eventually moves towards the resource market. So I'm talking about financial institutions, I'm talking about the labor, manpower, money, resources, technology, and in between you have the government markets, who may be connected with each and everyone, because government also need products and services. When they build dams, when they build universities, when they build infrastructure, they also need products and services. And from whom they actually purchase these products, they use manufacture, they get it from intermediaries, they get it from consumers, they get it from resource market. So basically it's a modern exchange economy, but a very simple kind of economy is in front of you, that there's an industry which is a collection of seller. It markets the products and services to the collection of buyers, and the industry also communicates through television, print media, radio to the market, and then they receive money in return. When they sell out the product, they also receive information from the customer. So it's very simple marketing system in front of you. I hope that actually won't be any issue. And how many types of, no, you see, these are all old facts and figures that I'm just discussing. These are all old concepts, and I'm not here to challenge you on any concept. I just want you people to get a refresher. But I think things would be more easy for you if you go through that book, because I'm not going to explain each and everything line by line, because that actually is not the purpose of this entire course, not the purpose of this recording. I want you people to play your role as well. I want you people to get on board with me, and collectively we'll run. And I'm going to make sure that you people understand. I'm going to make sure that you people have all the opportunities to learn. But I'm just not interested in repeating same thing again and again. So let's take an example of the how many key customer markets are there. You have consumer markets, who use products for personal and household consumption. You have business markets, who use products for refurnishing, for manufacturing, for assembly, or just use for their day-to-day businesses. For example, if you talk about a car, that car can be a part of a consumer market, can be a part of business market, but the only difference is you use that car for personal or household family consumption, but a business use that car for business purposes. So you have global markets outside your home country, you have not-for-profit markets, you also have governmental markets. So these are four major kind of markets that we have to deal with in marketing. And it's not only about knowing these markets, you need to understand that a single product, just like this car, can be sold to all these four markets. So you have four segments to target. It's not just about knowing how many types are there. Guys, you need to remember this thing. This is going to be the teaching methodology that I'm going to use. I want you to think, I want you to strategize. So knowing how many types of consumer markets, how many types of customer markets is not important for me. I'm not just concerned about that. I just want to know if you know that these customer markets can be potential customers for every company. You talk about a laptop, it can be sold to these four markets. You talk about washroom supplies, it can be sold to these four markets. You talk about food, it can be sold to these four markets. So you talk about stationery, it can be sold to these four markets. So it's just not only about knowing the types, it's about knowing that they can be your potential customers. And the most conventional and the most old concept of all times, the difference between needs, wants, and demand. And that is going to be my question number 3 from you guys. What is the difference between needs, wants, and demand? So it is in front of you. The basic human requirements, such as air, food, water, clothing. The specific objects that might satisfy the need, like you talk about KFC Zinger burger, and the basic need is the food, but a zinger is basically is your want. And if you have the buying power, that is basically the demand. But this is not what I'm interested to know. I want you people to tell me that how a marketer can use the concepts of need, want, and demand in order to market their products. That is my question number 3 from you people. And then you have different types of needs as well. What you actually say you want, that is a stated need. What you actually want is your real need. What you don't say is unstated. What you don't want but you get is a delighted need, and what you other people, what you want other people to know is your secret need. No, your book has given a very amazing example. For example, you want to buy an inexpensive car. That is called a stated need. But the real need is that you want a car that has a low operational cost, that is fuel efficient. That is called a real need. Unstated need is that you may ask or you may require your dealer to provide you an excellent customer service, and that what you did not say is what you get is called a delight need, that he has given you some additional features in the car which was not actually the part of the list price, that makes you delighted. And the secret need is you want to show off, and that show off means that you want other people to know that you have a car, you have an iPhone, you go to purchase products from Tehzeeb bakery, any other kind of secret. There is one term that we use, dark secret or something like that. I just skip my mind. That sometimes we use products not actually that we want to use them. We use those products for other people to see that we are a savvy customer. We are some sort of a wizard in these kind of things. Either you buy a car, or some people, you may come across some people who are always talking about cars, some people who are always talking about mobile phones, some people who are always talking about clothing or fashion equipment. So these are the kind of secret needs. But again, the question here is how an organization can use these types of needs in order to market their products to the customer. That is going to be our question number 4 for this chapter. And then guys, I will really appreciate if you can go through the book in order to explain, in order to recollect all the previous learning that you had regarding these concepts. So I'm sure you must recall the concept of target markets, the positioning and segmentation. All I can tell you at this point that you segment first, you identify a target market, and then you position your product based on what kind of product is actually required. So basically the first step is the segmentation. After segmentation, you come across a target market, and then you design a marketing mix for that segment. That is called positioning, which is step number 3. So